Hey there, guys. So, a really interesting heavyweight fight has just been signed that really took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting this one. According to Team Sauerland, their Swedish heavyweight prospect Otto Wallin is going to be facing against fellow Swedish heavyweight prospect Adrian Granat. Now, this is, like I said, this is not a fight I was expecting. Otto Wallin so far, has he's looked quite promising. However, he hasn't stepped up yet. Pretty much every opponent he's fought has been a journeyman. I saw his fight against, I believe it was on the undercard of the Kubrat Pulev Samuel Peter fight. He fought Rafael Zambano Love. That was when I really first heard about Otto Wallin, and somebody mentioned him on one of my videos, and I looked into him because he fought Rafael Zambano Love, who was a journeyman who I knew because he'd fought guys like Shannon Briggs and whatnot, so I'd heard of him. And I checked out Otto Wallin. He's a very impressive looking, big, 6'5.5" Swedish southpaw heavyweight who looks to have decent power. He's got a really, really good straight left. He's also got really, really good movement and footwork for a guy of that size and that weight. And I was quite impressed with him. So I was quite surprised to learn of this fight. Now, Adrian Granat, you guys know who he is, I'm sure. Adrian Granat was a very promising Swedish contender at heavyweight. He was a sparring partner for the likes of Alexander Povetkin. He had a lot of hype in Sweden. He fought guys like Franz Rill, who I believe had only had one defeat going into that fight, which was to Robert Helenius, which was controversial. So, he had a good knockout win there. So Adrian Granat had a lot of hype, and a lot of people had high hopes for him, but he got absolutely obliterated in one round when he went up against veteran heavyweight Alexander Dimitrenko from Russia. I mean, Alexander Dimitrenko, who seemed to be at the very end of his career, was coming off a horrible defeat to Joseph Parker in 3 rounds. Went over to Sweden and actually surprised a lot of people by knocking out Adrian Granat. I wasn't expecting that one at all. So Adrian Granat is looking to rebuild. He's had one fight since then against a journeyman. And he's still rebuilding. That's another reason why I wasn't expecting this fight, because I wasn't expecting Granat to jump straight into another fight of this level. I was thinking that he'd probably, take his time and fight a few more journeymen and try and build back up his confidence before stepping up again. But thankfully, he's taken a real serious challenge in this Otto Wallin fight. Now, like I said, Otto Wallin hasn't really fought anybody. He has fought some names that I recognise. He fought Becker. I don't know how you pronounce this guy's last name. It's like Lubjanzi or something like that. He was a guy who fought Derek Chisora not that long ago. He also fought Robert Helenius. He got stopped by both early. So he also fought Irino Costa Jr., I'm pretty sure he fought David Price, that guy. So, a lot of these guys he's been fighting, they're quite well-known journeymen who heavyweight contenders fight in just stay busy fights. So this really is, when you think about it, this really is a step up in class for Otto Wallin. He hasn't fought anybody like Adrian Granat yet, and at least you can say, although Adrian Granat got destroyed against Dimitrenko, at least you can say with confidence that, you can say that with confidence that he is a bit more experienced in terms of the opponents he's fought. He certainly fought the better competition. I mean, I think that Franz Rill, I would say, is a better heavyweight than pretty much anybody that Otto Wallin has fought so far. Even though Franz Rill isn't that good, I'm just saying, he at least had a winning record. Otto Wallin, as of yet, hasn't fought anybody with a winning record. So, this is definitely a step up. So how do I think this fight's going to go? Now, like I said, I was quite impressed with what I saw just based on the eye test from Otto Wallin. In all these undercard fights he's been on. I mean, he boxed quite a few times in Germany. He's boxed in Sweden, obviously. He's boxed in Bulgaria. He's boxed in, I think he boxed in Denmark. So he also boxed in Latvia in his last fight. So, this guy's been on a lot of high-profile undercards. Some Jürgen Bremer undercards and Maris Breedis Usyk undercard, I believe he was on. So, he's had some good exposure, but he hasn't been tested yet. Even though he's been on the road against basically journeymen. So going into this fight, I think he has a few advantages. First of all, he's a heck of a lot more confident based on the fact that he's undefeated. He looks to be more athletic. I look at Adrian Granat and he's like this big, slow, cumbersome looking heavyweight who looks quite sloppy to me and a bit stiff. Whereas Otto Wallin, Like I said, he moves well. He's got good footwork. He's got good balance. He's quite quick of hand and quick of foot for a guy of that size, and that's going to help him a lot in this fight because obviously if he's got quicker feet, he's going to be able to move around and fight on a side profile. And a guy like Adrian Granat, who's big and clumsy, kind of like David Price, he's going to get tired. He's going to have to catch up to this guy, and I'm not really sure if he can. I mean, another thing that worries me about Adrian Granat is, I mean, I really have questions about his chin. I mean, in that Alexander Dimitrenko fight, man, he just folded like a chair, man. As soon as he got hit clean, he was all over the place. And when he got back up from the knockdown, he could barely stand. It's like he didn't even know where he was. It was like David Price when he fought Tony Thompson in the first fight, where he went down and he got up and he was like stumbling all over the place. His equilibrium was gone, and you knew at that point he had no chin. It was kind of like that with Adrian Granat. The guy just has no chin. Let's be real. And although he has fought a couple of guys with somewhat winning records, he hasn't really. To me, he isn't as impressive. He looks like the bigger puncher. I think he punches harder than Otto Wallin, but just based on athleticism and technique and skill, I don't think he's quite as good. Which is why I am favouring Otto Wallin for the win. As far as like youth and stuff like that, I think the two guys are around about the same age. Like I said, Adrian Granat's a couple of inches taller. He's about 6'8", I think, whereas thingy is Otto Wallin is 6'5.5". So there is a slight difference in terms of size, but I don't think it'll matter much because, like I said, I mean the quicker guy here, at least based on the eye test, to me the quicker guy is Otto Wallin. I think the more athletic guy is Otto Wallin. The guy who's undefeated, who has more momentum at the moment, is Otto Wallin. I mean, look, that Dimitrenko fight, it really makes this one difficult to see how, it makes it difficult for me to see how Adrian Granat is going to react when he gets hit with something big. Like, I think if Adrian Granat gets caught with a real big straight left hand, because I've noticed that that Otto Wallin is quite good at making you walk into that left hand, and to be perfectly honest, I just don't think he'll react well. I really don't think he'll react well. I think that we could see him on shaky legs again, and he could possibly get knocked out. So I'm going to take a gamble with this prediction. I might get this completely wrong. Perhaps Otto Wallin, in stepping up in class, will fail miserably, just like Granat did in the Dimitrenko fight. But I'm going to go for Otto Wallin to win this fight by knockout. I think that at some point early in this fight, he's going to land a left hand. And I cannot, for the life of me, I just can't imagine Adrian Granat reacting to it like a champion. I can't imagine him having the survival instincts or the durability to get through it. So I can see him getting dropped. I can see him getting knocked out. But at the same time, we don't really know if Otto Wallin has that kind of power. That's the thing, because I mean, at least in Dimitrenko's case, the guy had 25 KOs going into that fight. So we knew that Dimitrenko had a bit of a punch. We don't really know that about Otto Wallin. I know he has had 13, 14 KOs, but they're against absolute journeymen. Okay, he's never dropped anybody of any serious quality. Like I said, he went the distance with Rafael Zambanov. So, we don't know how this is going to go. I just think there's so much uncertainty, and that's why I like this fight. I don't know how Adrian Granat is going to react when Granat gets caught with a left hand. I just don't know if he'll be able to see. I mean, he might still have demons from that knockout defeat. I don't know how Otto Wallin is. I don't know how he's going to handle an occasion like this, a big domestic level grudge match, because these guys apparently, according to reports, don't like each other very much. He is stepping up for the first time. And, we've seen it so many times in boxing, particularly in the heavyweight division, We've seen it when, they take a solid shot from a heavyweight that they're expected to beat, and all of a sudden, their life flashes before their eyes, because these guys hit so hard, because they're so big and heavy, that the fight can end at any moment. So it's just that kind of fight. That's why I like this fight. It's so uncertain. You don't know who's going to win. But I'm going to take a gamble. And I'm going to say that Otto Wallin will win this one by knockout. I'm not sure what round, but I could see it being within the first half of the fight, to be honest. I really could. I'm not saying that's definitely going to happen, but I certainly could see I could certainly see him landing a straight left in any of the first 6 rounds and scoring a knockout. We don't know what his stamina's like. He does seem to have pretty good stamina. I've seen him go like 6-8 rounds and looks pretty good. So, but we don't know. You know, it's just that type of fight, isn't it, guys? I mean, you know, fighters the level of Michael Sprott and Rafael Zambano Love. You know, who are, I think Michael Sprott fought Adrian Granat. You know, so fighting those kind of guys, you just don't know. You can't take anything from those fights, which is what makes this fight so unique and so it makes it so attractive, because it's two, you know, top Swedish prospects who are going to be going at it, and you just don't know which one is going to come out on top, and I really like that. But I'm going to go with Otto Wallin by a knockout, probably a knockout in the first half. Let me know what you guys think about this anyway, and thanks for watching.